5 fatal mistakes that young entrepreneurs make. Number 1, diversification. This is one of my biggest pet peeves when I talk to young entrepreneurs, is that they simply are trying to do too many things. They've got copywriting, and in addition, they want to start a social media managing company, and then they also want to do appointment setting, and they want to do high ticket closing, and they want to start an Instagram, and they want to write a book, a PDF, ebook, yada yada. Like when I talk to young entrepreneurs and they tell me all of the things that they're going to do, the immediate thought that comes to my mind is that nothing that they're going to do is actually going to work out. They're using a shotgun approach, which you'd hope would work, but it doesn't when it comes to this, because in order for you to succeed in business, you have to have an edge. You have to be competitive. You have to have some skills. You have to have something that people would rather come to you than anywhere else in order for them to get their information and for them to buy their product or service from someone. They want to come to you specifically. So if you are doing way too many things, then you're not focused on your main priority, which is the client. The client wants you to be completely and utterly focused on them, i.e., take care of the product and service that you're offering them and go all in on that product and service. Diversification, choosing too many businesses instead of having a job, have a job, okay? But then maybe even a part-time job in addition, maybe 2 part-time jobs, okay? Before you start a business. But once you start a business, there's only one business model, okay? And you only do that and you go full on with that one business model and then become financially free so you can quit your job, quit the part-time jobs, so that you have full time now to either fully go forward with this business that already took you to 5K, 10K, 20K a month, and then scale it to go beyond that and get to $1 million as an example. Or you now have the time and money freedom because you chose one thing to become successful at that, and now you're able to choose, which business should I build now? The optimal thing is if you go towards the millions in that one specific thing first, whether that takes you 2 years, 5 years, it doesn't matter. Build one thing great first, and then you can do whatever you want for the rest of your life. Just don't squander the first early years, because the younger you are, the more impressive it is that you're rich, right? So you got to use the young years very, very wisely, and having too many irons in the fire, as they call it, is not very productive and it's not very wise. Just simply don't do it. Choose one thing, stick to it while you got your full-time jobs and part-time jobs next to it. Number 2, learning from the wrong people. This, basically, 80% of this is choosing to go to school. Please, I beg of you, in the 21st century, where we've got access to more information than we've ever had before, where you've learned about a tool called ChatGPT that you use to cheat on your exams, bro, please, simply don't go to school. It is ridiculous that people are going to school in this day and age when you can learn anything and everything on Google, for crying out loud, okay? Your parents don't know what they're talking about when they're asking you to go to college. What they should be saying to you is, hey, you should develop a massive work ethic. You should figure out what it is that you love to do with your time that actually pays well. You should have a job and a second part-time job, etc., like I explained earlier, and you should start a side hustle and build a business so you can take care of us in old age. That's what parents should be saying. Are they saying that the vast majority of the time? No. Because they think that you should be taking a safer route. You know what the safest route is? It's actually developing your skill sets, make them valuable, make yourself valuable to the marketplace so that the marketplace will pay you whatever it is that you want them to pay for the rest of your life. That's safe. Because then you can always get money whenever you want, however you want, because you've learned how to sell and you've learned how to meet a need in the marketplace. If you only ever learn to go to college and do what you're told to do by your professor and then do what you're told to do by your boss, what happens when you no longer have a boss because you got fired during a recession? Now you have to squander and be like, oh, I need to learn how to build a business, or I need another job. Don't put yourself in that situation. You're learning from the wrong people. Your parents are probably the wrong people to learn from. Professors at college are definitely the wrong people to learn from. And sometimes people don't do their due diligence in understanding who is going to mentor them. Learn from the right people. Learn from those that have got results, that have actually learned something amazing that you can just simply take, grab, hold on to, and move forward in establishing your financial freedom. Number 2 is that the fatal mistakes that young entrepreneurs make is that they are learning from the wrong people. Number 3, celebrating too early. Imagine that you actually are a young guy and you create a product or service that people are actually willing to buy. Celebrating too early. What do I mean by that? I mean basically women, partying, stimulants, and doing that on the side of your business as if that's a full-time job. That's a full-time job. It is to have a girlfriend or to sleep around and do the partying and do the stimulants while you're trying to build wealth is not a great combo. The best combo for building a business, okay, is the lonely road with a community of other dudes that are also performing a lonely road. Or even better would be if you guys are actually ganging up together and building a business together so that you are actually moving towards your goals in the same direction, in the same intensity. That would be preferable. Doesn't happen very often. But man, that is how it should look like. Don't celebrate too early with the women, with the partying, and with the booze and the other stimulants. That will destroy you in the end, and it's not going to give you the joy, bliss, and happiness that you're looking for long term. Focus rather on building a business and staying focused on that task without celebrating too early, even if you are making some money, because let's face it, you're still poor if you don't have $1 million, right? Okay, having said that, number 4 is giving up too early. 5 fatal mistakes that young entrepreneurs make. One of those is that they give up too early. What does that mean? It's kind of in line with the diversification principle that I mentioned early on, is that people start a business and then they quit because something in that business was extremely difficult and they didn't really like. It was kind of yucky. As an example, sales, right? You don't want to learn sales, although you're an entrepreneur. You don't want to contact people because that would mean rejection. That would mean your ego is being hurt, and that would mean that you still suck, and people don't like the value that value proposition that you've got. You have to go through that. You have to go through the sales process because it's the rejection that helps you to get feedback on what the marketplace wants. You want to do the market research on whatever it is that you're selling in terms of a product or service. You need to know that the marketplace, they want this and this and this. They don't want what you've got. They want the other stuff. Now, the question is, are you going to adapt and change? Or are you going to choose to not listen to them or not even try to do the market research to find out what the market desires? You have to reach out to people. You've got to communicate with them. And when they say no, you've got to figure out why are they saying no, and then begin to give the marketplace whatever it is that they want. Don't give up too early when it comes to the most important and critical steps in your business that need to get done on a daily basis. And don't quit. Don't ever go back to your 9 to 5 and then quit altogether on entrepreneurship. That is massively limiting your lifelong potential. Don't ever do that. I see a lot of people do that. Don't ever do that, okay? Fortunately, actually, most people that do start the entrepreneur journey and become a little bit successful, they never go back to the 9 to 5, which they should be very grateful for. And number 5, this is probably the most important one. The biggest fatal mistake that young entrepreneurs do is they never develop a massive work ethic. You need to understand the 80-hour work week. You need to feel it on your body. You need to understand how it is to have a limited amount of sleep because you've got so much work to do and you're so obsessed with it that you can't sleep, but then you notice that your body can't handle consistently putting in the work because you need to sleep. And all of that you learn as an entrepreneur as you go, that you need to put in the work, and then you find out that, man, there's too many things that I'm trying to cram into my life, and then you begin to get rid of stuff. Okay, getting rid of stuff is the best thing that you could ever do in business. It's in line with the first principle of diversification. Learn how to focus, learn how to obsess, learn how to make things happen in your business. The only way to do that is by putting in a massive amount of work ethic and learning how the 80-hour work week feels like, until the point where you've done it for so long that it is a natural thing to do on a daily basis. Once you get to that level where you just love putting in the work, you love the 80 hours a week, man, you're going to have an exponential growth curve. It's physically impossible for you not to succeed in business if you put in the 80-hour work week and do everything else that I just mentioned in this business. Or I guess the opposite, because those were fatal mistakes. You get what I'm saying? Thank you so much for watching. You guys are on the right path. Make sure you subscribe and like. I'll see you guys in the next one.